So this is Priyanka Kuriakose, who is currently working as a creative director at Juggernaut Productions. All right, so Priyanka, can you give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Hi, Johan, and hi to everyone there. I'm Priyanka. I am a creative director. What that means I work within the fields of film and television production, and now increasingly OTT. So OTT platforms are all of your platforms on the web that you subscribe to for programming. Things like Netflix, Amazon, Root, MX Player, Alt Balaji, all of those. So, as a creative director, what we do is we oversee the entire process of the creative production of a show. So, in my job role, what we do is we get interesting stories, we look at them, we try and assess A, should this be a film? Does it have enough story that it can be a television series? Does there or is there enough that or is it sort of more than a film but less than a never ending television series, in which case like a limited series that works for the OTT platform is where it's probably best at. And what we do is then you also know what different channels are looking for, you try and see who you can sell to, and once you have a buy-in from a channel, then you try and staff the team. So initially you staff for writers, then you staff for directors, then you start for creative heads, then you staff for editors. So the creative director, and then of course you deliver it to the channel. So the creative director is the person who sort of creatively oversees the process, not completely alone. You work very closely with directors, you work very, very closely with the heads of department. And each program, your role sort of changes a little bit. Some things you may lead a little more, some things you may lead a little less, depending on the show, depending on on how much you connect with the project. But at the very base, I think what you should say is that we're storytellers and we figure out how to tell stories.
All right. So what do you think are the skills students should acquire to prepare for the creative world?
So this is quite an interesting profession because so we have creative directors in our company who have very different skill sets, and we're all creative directors. So people like me are probably more excited by stories. Hence, I kind of define this profession as storytelling, and all of the things you need to do to get to tell stories. There are people who are really great managers. So they're the kind of people who may or may not want to get that deeply into the creatives, but are brilliant at sort of letting the director run the show and coordinating between the two different departments. A big issue that you always have is budgets, right? So you can be really creative, but you have to be creative within a budget. Ideally, a creative director is supposed to bridge the two things. So there are people who are great in sort of ensuring that everything runs on time, all budgets are being met, all of that. But I think the base. So I think to answer your question, I think what's really great for students to come in is if you're someone who's both creatively inclined and but doesn't necessarily want to take the full creative onus for something. You don't necessarily want to be a writer or don't necessarily want to be a director. This is sort of a good bridge profession because there are certain management skills that you need to enter.
All right. So what guidance do you have for some students who are looking to pursue a career in the creative world?
So a couple of different things. One, I think for anybody, you should be interested in telling stories. You should be interested and excited by content. So if you're the sort of person who enjoys watching film, enjoys watching series on TV, or enjoys watching series on the OTT platforms, this is a great profession for you. But it goes a little bit more than that. You shouldn't just be happy watching it or consuming it. You should want to analyze it. If you're the kind of person who says, God, I wish they could have done, this particular character shouldn't have done this, or this could have been done a better way, oh my God, this room could have looked better. If you find yourself doing that when you're watching, then then you're not just a consumer, you're someone who wants to create as well. In terms of how to get into this profession, it's a relatively newish designation. It sort of started maybe the last 10-15 years. Otherwise, you always technically only had a director. So, in terms of how you get in, there are multiple paths. Some people choose to get in with more of a focus on writing, some people choose to get in with more of a focus on direction. All of these options are sort of equally valuable. Generally most people get in as into the field as assistant directors and understand how the production and pre-production processes work a little bit, and then figure out which of the many sort of streams within filmmaking works for them. And I think that's really valuable, because I know so many people who've gotten in thinking I want to direct and realize no, they want to write, no, they want to do camera, no, they want to do what I do. So getting a year or two experience in the field is possibly the best. For a lot of people, an easy way of entering the field is to do a BMM degree. So that's to a communications and media degree, which you get in Bombay. It'll just sort of let you know not just about filmmaking or making content in the manner we do, but it'll also let you know about journalism. It'll also let you know about advertising. So it'll sort of open up the world of media in a bigger way. That's one thing. What I did was, I mean, I graduated way before the BMM degree was even available. So I graduated with a commerce degree, which helps. I can read budgets and understand them, and I'm not very great at maintaining them all the time, but I do get what a budget is. Um, then I worked for a few years within documentaries, and then I went abroad to do a course in filmmaking, which was a course that sort of that was a very practical course. It was, a year and a half, and it sort of, without necessarily saying it, kind of taught you how to combine both the creative and the managerial aspect of it. But going abroad is expensive, so it's always better to work for a couple of years and be very sure that the course you choose is the one that you is actually setting you up to for success in the field that you want to go to.
All right. So thank you, Priyanka. Thank you so much for your time and good luck on your work.
Thank you so much, Johan. Lovely speaking to you.